Now keep in mind, I'm going to keep referring back to this table here because this little table right here on page 9 really sets out every problem you have to do for 10.4. So you have to follow all those steps verbatim. So let's do it. It's the panel of jurors theoretically drawn from eligible citizens. Same problem we've run into before. During the appeal hearing, evidence was given that 50% of eligible citizens in a particular case were African American, but on an 80-person panel of potential jurors, only 5% were African Americans. All right, state the hypothesis that the jury pool was rigged using the classical method, or test the hypothesis, excuse me. Okay, so step 1. Let's write it out. You need a null and alternative hypothesis, but I believe we already came up with these. I'm going to pause. I'll be right back. Boom. We wrote these before. The proportion is equal to 50. The proportion is less than 50. We don't really need the words portion anymore, although that's still going there in the background, but I don't want it to confuse the issue. All right, step 1 is done. Whoopsie. Step 2. Matter of fact, I'll put it right here. Step 2. We need to set an alpha. Alpha is going to be our level significance. And it's up to you what you want to make it. Most of the time, they will actually give you a number, but this particular problem, you'll see it doesn't really matter what you pick. But I'll pick 0.001. And this is a big deal. I want to make sure that I'm giving the DA here a fair shake. So I want them to have a really high level to prove that this jury was rigged. Because, pretend this was a murder. I mean, you don't want to let somebody go free who was actually guilty. So let's set an alpha of 0.001. Again, most of the time they'll be giving you that in the problem somewhere. Step 3, you need to find your test statistic. And I reiterate, guys, I mean, it is so smart of you to just have this table printed out and have it sitting there. So step 3, there we go, test statistic. Let's find it, shall we? Okay, so let's keep in mind a couple things. It's 0.05 was our p hat. It says it right here, 5% were African American. 0.05. And then, whoopsie, I'm running out of space here. Hold on. There we go. Minus P0. P0 is the null hypothesized proportion, which is 0.50 over the square root of 0.5 times 1 minus 0.5, because that was in the null hypothesis, all over n, which was 80. Whoopsie. Hold on. Which was 80. There we go. I got it in there. Okay, so again, 0.5 was the null hypothesis. P0s, get it? Null 0, get it? 0.05 was our sample proportion, the amount that were actually in the jury room that were African American. Now, what a giant pain to find, but we'll do it. Let me get you a blank spreadsheet here. Okay, so let's just write all this out for a second. We have P0, null P. Let me do it this way. P0. How about that? Whew. P hat. Well, yeah, I'll do it that way. I'm going to leave some space there. N, because there's another way to get P hat, which, here. Okay, let me do N here. Let me do P hat here. There's a method to my madness, I swear. And then we're going to find Z0. Okay? All right, now P0 for us was 0.5. N was 80, excuse me. P hat was 0.05. Okay, so you can do the formula. Parentheses, this cell minus this cell, close parentheses, divided by SQRT. Okay, 0.5 times parentheses 1 minus that cell B1, 0.5, divided by that cell, which is 80. And there you go, negative 8.05, which is really low. I mean, just think about that. That means that this data was 8.05 standard deviations below the mean. Really low. Okay, really far away from normality. Okay, step 4. Step 4 is supposed to be, since we're doing the classical method here, see how it says classical? We're going to have to find critical value, right? Right here. We're going to find our critical value using Excel. That's going to take us our next video, so I'll meet you then.